GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, Montreal. Traffic is spiking on the highways around the city, adding nearly 2 million vehicles in the last 2 decades, and the Alouettes just edged out the Stampeders in a 38-32 thriller. Plus, the city announced 1,650 new affordable housing units. Over to you, Ryan.
The Alouettes beat the Stampeders 38-32, and Davis Alexander set a new CFL record.
Montreal's Alouettes secured a 38-32 victory over Calgary, with Davis Alexander breaking the league's record.
The win came yesterday, and Alexander's record marks the most rushing yards in a single CFL game this season.
All right, let's get into it, starting with the top headlines for today across Montreal and beyond. Good morning, Montreal. Vehicle traffic is climbing at its sharpest pace on highways that circle the island, with nearly 2 million extra cars logged over the past 20 years. While the city's core still carries Quebec's most heavily traveled routes, the surrounding corridors have outpaced that growth, prompting officials to flag mounting congestion on commuter arteries. Data from the Provincial Transport Ministry shows daily volumes swelling on the Autoroute 40 corridor, the Champlain Bridge approach, and the southern link to the South Shore, where rush hour queues have lengthened noticeably. Planners warn that the surge could strain existing infrastructure and accelerate wear on bridges, urging a review of capacity upgrades. Residents commuting from the west and east boroughs may feel the impact as travel times extend, even as downtown routes remain the busiest in the province.
Odyssée has surged to the top of the worldwide box office, becoming the highest-grossing film ever recorded. The surge is powered by audiences flocking to see the movie in the IMAX 70mm format, a technology that was first invented right here in Montreal. This summer release marks the first fictional feature filmed entirely on that ultra-high-resolution stock, and the novelty is drawing crowds from every continent. Industry analysts say the combination of breathtaking visuals and the nostalgic appeal of large-format film is reviving interest in a medium once thought obsolete. The film's success is also boosting ticket sales at local IMAX venues, where patrons are lining up for the immersive experience. As the numbers keep climbing, studios are eyeing the format for upcoming blockbusters, hoping to replicate the unprecedented global response today.
Yesterday, the city turned into a sea of red and gold as Spanish supporters and local residents poured into downtown avenues to celebrate Spain's triumph in the FIFA World Cup final. Fans waved flags, sang the national anthem, and gathered around the Bell Center, while street musicians added a festive soundtrack. Police reported smooth crowd flow and no major incidents, noting that the spontaneous celebration spread from St. Laurent to the Plateau and even reached the bustling streets of the Quartier des Spectacles. Restaurants and cafes extended hours, offering tapas and sangria to the revelers. The victory marks Spain's first World Cup title since 2010, and the joyous scene reflected the city's multicultural spirit. Authorities thanked participants for keeping the streets safe and clean, as the celebrations wound down late into the night.
Students at Collège Supérieur de Montréal gathered today outside the campus to block entrances and chant slogans demanding the school remain open. The demonstration began this morning after the Quebec Ministry of Education refused to renew the college's operating permits, a decision for which officials have offered no explanation. Protesters, many carrying signs in French and English, say the shutdown threatens their studies and future employment prospects. Police presence was reported at the perimeter, but authorities have not made any arrests as the protest continues into the afternoon. The ministry declined comment when approached, leaving families and faculty uncertain about the timeline for a possible closure. Several dozen students from nearby Dawson College also joined, forming a human chain along Sherbrooke Street that slowed vehicle flow. Organizers warned that they will maintain the sit-in until the government provides a clear rationale or reverses the permit denial.
Yesterday, the Oklahoma City Thunder sent Montreal-born starter Lou Dort to the Atlanta Hawks in a 3-team deal that reshaped the league's mid-season roster moves. The 2020 first-round pick, known for his gritty defense, had been a regular in Oklahoma City's lineup for 6 seasons. The trade, finalized in Oklahoma and confirmed in Atlanta, also involved the Thunder receiving a future second-round pick and a veteran wing from the third club, while the Hawks added a versatile forward to bolster their wing depth. Dort, who grew up playing on local rinks in the Plateau, will now join a Hawks squad looking to improve its defensive perimeter as the season approaches its playoff push. The transaction marks the latest chapter for the native son, who has become a familiar name on both sides of the border. Later we'll check on the van motorcycle crash on Isle d'Orléans that left 2 seriously injured. And more, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad you're with us. Let's dive into today's headlines, and now Ryan Mercer will take us through the local stories.
Yesterday afternoon, a van slammed into a motorcycle on Chemin Royal near St. Laurent de l'Isle d'Orléans, leaving 2 riders with serious injuries. Sûreté du Québec responded quickly, securing the scene and ordering a complete closure of the rural stretch while investigators work. The shutdown halted traffic on the island's main thoroughfare, affecting commuters and the many visitors who travel the scenic route each weekend. Emergency crews transported the injured to the nearest hospital, where they remain under intensive care. Police are gathering witness statements and reviewing dash cam footage to determine the cause of the collision. The road is expected to stay closed until the investigation is finished, prompting drivers to seek alternate routes through the island's interior network. Authorities advise anyone planning travel on Isle d'Orléans to check for updates before departing today.
Saturday night, the Montreal Alouettes edged the Calgary Stampeders in a high-scoring duel, finishing with 38-32. Quarterback Davis Alexander broke the Canadian Football League record for most passing yards in a single game, a milestone that lifted the home crowd. The Alouettes built a steady lead early, but the Stampeders rallied in the fourth quarter, narrowing the gap before Alexander's late drive secured the win. The record-setting performance came as the Alouettes clinched a crucial regular season victory, keeping them in contention for playoff positioning. Calgary's comeback effort fell short despite a late surge, leaving the visitors with a respectable 32 points. Nearby cafes reported a surge in coffee sales as supporters gathered around televisions, and the victory sparked conversation on the team's prospects for the final stretch.
Last week, residents of Mercer, Hochelaga-Maisonneuve voiced objections after Canadian National Railway sprayed herbicide along tracks beside their homes without prior notice. The railway's weed control crew applied the chemicals in July, prompting complaints from people who said fumes drifted into balconies and open windows. Neighbors gathered at the local community center, demanding that CN provide advance warnings for future treatments and explain safety measures. CN officials said the operation is routine vegetation management along its right-of-way, but admitted the timing and lack of communication sparked concern. Several households reported seeing the spray plume pass within a few meters of their yards, and a local environmental group called for an independent review of the chemicals used. CN indicated the product meets provincial regulations, and that monitoring will continue to ensure no lingering residues affect the neighborhood.
Montreal unveiled a plan to add 1,650 affordable housing units to the housing stock. The new construction will be spread across several sites, including the former Molson Brewery property and the Namur Hippodrome neighborhood. Officials said the proposals aim to ease the chronic shortage of low-cost rentals that many families face. The proposal follows months of community pressure and a recent municipal study that highlighted a gap of thousands of units. By targeting underused industrial land, Montreal hopes to deliver homes without displacing existing residents. The initiative also ties into broader efforts to increase density and diversify neighborhoods. Montreal planners expect the first sites to break ground within the next year, with completion staggered over several phases. Local renters anticipate that the added units could shorten waiting lists at shelter services and provide more stable options for low-income households.
Yesterday, the Journal de Montreal reported a 30% jump in Ontario truck drivers filing to swap their provincial licenses for Quebec ones. The surge reflects a wave of drivers relocating to Quebec, seeking to align their credentials with local regulations. For Montreal shippers and businesses, The influx could mean more familiar faces on the highways and potentially smoother coordination with Quebec-based logistics firms. Transport officials note that the exchange process involves a written test and a medical exam, but the growing demand suggests drivers see advantages in operating under Quebec's licensing framework. As more fleets base themselves in the province, the change may affect freight rates and delivery schedules for local retailers. Authorities are monitoring the trend to ensure road safety standards remain consistent across the border and to support cross-provincial commerce.
And now, Lauren, let's take a quick look at what the morning skies have in store.
A swift northwest jet stream and rising pressure lock in dry, stable air, keeping rain out. On this date, the city burned to 33 degrees Celsius back in 2019, the hottest July 19th on record, driven by a lingering heat dome that pushed the jet stream north. The coldest reading was 14.4 degrees Celsius in 2016, when an Arctic surge slipped unusually far south, blanketing the area with frigid air. By contrast, today's climatological normals sit around 25 degrees high and 15 degrees low, a modest swing from the extremes. Scanning the live radar, the map is completely clear across southern Quebec and the St. Lawrence corridor. No echoes are tracking in, confirming the dry air mass that the rising pressure is ushering in. The fast northwest jet overhead will continue to steer any moisture well north of us, so we expect the city to stay dry through the afternoon, with any lingering clouds dissipating by early evening. At 7 this morning, Montreal sits at 15 degrees Celsius under a thick cloud deck, humidity near 83%, and a gentle 8 kilometers per hour breeze from the west. Pressure is near average but nudging upward, squeezing out lingering moisture and stabilizing the air. Overhead, the jet stream punches through at 170 kilometers per hour from the northwest, reinforcing the dry pattern and keeping any storms well to our north. Temperatures will climb to 25 degrees by noon, then peak at 27 near 3, before easing to 25 at sunset. UV index 6. Winds will gust up to 28 kilometers per hour from the west, feeling brisk. No weather alerts are active. With the sky clearing by early afternoon, we now turn to the 5-day outlook. Monday brings a high of 27 and a low of 15, with overcast skies and lingering chill. Tuesday stays warm at 27 high, 15 low, but a 60% chance of rain will push the afternoon into steady showers. Wednesday cools to a high of 23 and a low of 15. A 30% rain probability leaves most of the day clear with brief sunshine between clouds. Thursday offers a high of 22 and a low of 15 under clear skies, a dry stretch that lets daytime heating linger. Friday returns to a high of 25 and a low of 17, overcast but dry, setting up the weekend for milder conditions. The pattern reflects a weak trough moving east, allowing the jet stream to swing north and keep most moisture offshore. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll break down traffic surge, preview PLAYBLACK brunch, and the Canadians opening the upcoming season, then more after the break. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
All clear on the major arteries this morning. Autoroute 6 runs free in both directions and the Descaries Expressway shows no slowdowns. Boulevard St. Laurent, Rue Sherbrooke, and the Ville-Marie Tunnel are moving at normal speed, so commuters can expect a smooth ride into downtown. The commuter rail lines are on schedule and the metro is operating without interruption. No accidents or construction are reported at this hour. Looking ahead, the afternoon rush will likely bring heavier traffic on the Descaries and the Champlain Bridge as workers head home. Expect the downtown core to tighten around the intersection of Rue St. Laurent and Rue Peel after lunch, and the highway corridors into the South Shore may see a modest build-up. Keep an eye on those spots if you're planning a post-work trip, but for now the roads remain open and traffic is flowing.
Just for Laughs is lighting up the Cartier des Spectacles right now, so you can catch a free laugh on your way to work. The city's biggest comedy festival fills streets and stages with top-tier stand-up. At Ginkgo Cafe and Bar, PLAYBLACK offers a World Cup-themed brunch that mixes soccer spirit with fresh, local flavors. Arrive early, the crowd fills fast. It's a tasty way to fuel up before the afternoon heat. Tomorrow, Terrace Carla hosts a day party on its sunny patio, where DJs spin chill beats and cocktails flow, a perfect low-key extension of the weekend. Later this week, Club de Golf Metropolitain presents Un Retour au Jardin, the second edition with Simeon's eclectic world beat set, ideal for dancing under the stars. And the Festival International Nuits d'Afrique continues across venues, delivering vibrant African, Caribbean, and Latin rhythms for a cultural night out. A great option for a night out with friends. And now here's Tyler with sports.
Local soccer, hockey trades, and a season opener date to mark down. The Montreal Roses picked up a tight one in Northern Super League play, edging the visiting Halifax Tides 1-0. Substitute Chloe Minas was the difference, stepping up to convert a penalty in the 77th minute to seal the home victory, according to CBC Sports Soccer. Circle September 29th on your calendar. That is when the Montreal Canadiens open the 2026 to 2027 NHL season, heading to Toronto to face the Maple Leafs on opening night. It is part of an all-Canadian doubleheader to kick off the new campaign, per CBC Sports. A chapter has closed in Montreal. The Canadiens have traded forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations. CBC Sports reported the deal, marking the end of Gallagher's run with the organization where he spent the bulk of his NHL career.
Mistral AI, the French artificial intelligence startup, has chosen Montreal for its new Canadian hub, opening a sleek office on St. Catherine Street in the downtown core. The company will bring dozens of high-tech jobs, focusing on research and development that pushes the boundaries of machine learning. By anchoring its North American operations here, Mistral connects local talent with a global network of AI innovators, creating fresh career pathways and collaborative projects for Montreal's engineers and data scientists. This expansion reinforces the city's reputation as a world-class AI center and fuels the vibrant tech ecosystem that defines our neighborhoods. For Montrealers, Mistral's presence means more opportunities to shape the future right at home. Stay tuned for a feel-good story as Montreal-born Lou Dort makes his exciting move from Thunder to Hawks, brightening our day.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMNA for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
In the vibrant neighborhood of Mile End, just as the sun brushed the St. Lawrence River, a small group of volunteers gathered beneath the historic St. Viator Bakery. They were there to hand out reusable masks and fresh scented lavender sachets to anyone passing by after the city issued an air quality warning for sensitive groups. Children paused their bike rides, their faces lighting up as a local artist painted bright, swirling clouds on a temporary canvas, reminding everyone that clean air is a shared promise. One elderly resident, who has lived on St. Laurent for more than 50 years, whispered a thank you as she slipped the soft cotton mask over her nose, feeling the gentle breeze for the first time that morning. The simple act of community members turning a warning into a moment of care turned the streets into a quiet celebration of looking out for one another. It's a reminder that even when the air feels heavy, the spirit of Montreal remains light and hopeful. Stay safe and enjoy the day ahead.
In the Plateau's bustling Rue Saint-Denis, a crowd of coffee-sipping neighbors gathered around a newly unveiled bronze sculpture that catches the sunrise, its polished surface reflecting the early light. I'm standing beside 3 Quebec artists whose work has just been named among the top 100 finalists in the Coda Awards, the global competition that spotlights the world's most inspiring public art. Half of this year's 6 Canadian finalists call Quebec home, and today they shared stories of how a single community mural in Verdun sparked a career that now stretches across continents. One vivid memory they recounted: a child in a wheelchair reaching out to trace the curve of a steel ribbon that winds through the park, his laughter echoing as the piece was installed. That moment, repeated in studios and streets across the province, reminds us why public art matters, because it turns ordinary corners into places of connection. Seeing our local creators celebrated on the world stage feels like the whole city has taken a breath together, proud and hopeful. Our neighborhoods are brighter because of their vision.
Thank you, Montreal, for watching the local sunrise. Tonight's Alouettes triumph, with Davis Alexander setting a new CFL record, captured the city's spirit. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Stay safe, stay curious as always, and see you bright and early.